So welcome to second Saturday Satsang, the first one of 2022. We didn't have one last year. I was in the middle of moving and still in just discombobulated in a lot of ways, but I'm here now anyway, and I'm so glad to be with all of you. We are in a period of change in consciousness in humanity and in the world, and we are participating in it, and we in the conscious community have a responsibility to help it along, don't we? It's happening right now. There are astrological correlations that we can look at that have always been in place in times of great cultural change. Those are coming into place again. And in fact, later on, I'm going to talk about that because there's a 10-part docuseries that's being released on February 22nd. And I haven't been this excited about watching something for a long, long time. It's done about Pluto and its aspects of other planets that have been in play whenever there's been, like in the 60s, remember those times? Well, some of us remember those times, some of us don't, but in the 60s was a great consciousness transformation, you might say. That's when the women's movement started. That's when Martin Luther King had the dream that there was a great change of consciousness in the 60s. And now it's coming back again to happen again at a higher octave. So we are participating in that. And we are, like I said, conscious community has a responsibility to add our consciousness to the collective. So I want to begin by invoking spirit and asking that our guides and teachers and better angels come and join us now and open our hearts and open our minds. Help us to love each other as each of us needs to be loved. Help us to appreciate, in the truest sense of the word, the hearts that we see of others, not only in this Zoom meeting, but in the world we operate in, the walks we take, the work we do, the love we give and receive. Help us to love and appreciate the hearts that are in our environment. We ask this of our teachers and guides, and particularly we acknowledge the presence of the masters and the grace of the Guru and the blessings and guidance of Mahavatar Babaji, Satguru Maharaj Ki Jai. So today's message is about, it's called Lift Up Your Eyes. Lift up your eyes. How many levels are there to that statement? Well, first, there's just your physical eyes. When you lift up your eyes, it's tantamount to looking up, right? And I recently, as I just mentioned, moved to the mountains in North Carolina. And wherever I go, I find myself looking up to the mountains there in front of me and behind me and the back of me. And I keep remembering a Bible verse from my youth, which even in those years just captured me. That Bible verse really captured me. I lift mine eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help. It's a psalm. It's a verse in Psalms. And that was so beautiful to me. And every time I get in my car, that verse comes to me. I lift mine eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help. So I remembered it, and it is coming into play in various ways right now. I'm lifting my physical eyes. As I mentioned, that's one aspect of lifting your eyes. I lift my physical eyes and up to the mountains. But next, there's metaphorical, the metaphorical lifting of the eyes, right? Metaphorically, looking up refers to gaining a happier perspective, doesn't it? Walking on the sunny side of the street, as Willie Nelson famously sang. And so looking up metaphorically is a positive thing, but it's also metaphorically looking up in order to see a wider perspective, something more. And then finally, there's physical, metaphorical, and finally, and maybe not finally, but at least lastly in this example, there's the spiritual version of looking up, right? There's a version of meditation called third eye meditation, in which one looks toward the spot between one's own eyebrows as one meditates. Now, Mahavatar Babaji, who is the originator of our lineage, Mahavatar Babaji is often depicted in this type of meditation. The painting that we've all seen of him, which I typically have on my wall but haven't hung yet, he's looking up and looking to the third eye when he meditates. And then even in this statue I have of him here, you can see that though his eyes are closed, he's looking up into the third eye. So there's a third eye meditation where we're literally accessing a part of our brain that somehow links to the part of your brain that's not active. So when you, as some of us who've taken neurolinguistic programming know, your eyes are a giveaway to what your brain is doing. You're accessing different parts of your brain to discern what's in your environment, to solve problems, et cetera, et cetera. You're doing that. And as you do it, your eyes move in different directions and access different parts of your brain. Your brain's usually solving problems or reckoning its surroundings, right? According to some studies that have been done, when you look straight up, it kind of keeps you from accessing those parts of your brain. So it literally helps you to meditate when you are looking up into that part of your brain. So when our eyes are trained on the spot between our eyebrows, which is the third eye, we are in essence knocking on the door to another dimension. We're looking at and through the third eye. And the third eye sees with a different consciousness, doesn't it? The third eye sees in symbols and colors and moods and movements that don't always make sense to the rest of our third dimensionally trained, I should say, brain, because we have trained our brain to be very third dimensional. So those are the three ways. Those are the three ways to approach the idea of lift up your eyes. And that's, as I said, that's our lesson today, is lift up your eyes. There's the physical, the metaphysical, and the spiritual. And they're really all the same, aren't they? At least they are various motions along the same spectrum. The message, lift up your eyes, of course, this is satsang, so our emphasis is spiritual. However, here's what I have learned. If you can access any point along the spectrum between physical and spiritual, and it is a spectrum, say if you can lift your physical eyes, you can literally begin to move up the spectrum from physical to spiritual, because it's all connected. It's all on a spectrum. So, so what does it mean to lift up your eyes? I think let's do it. Let's do that for just together. You can do it first with your eyes open. Lift up your eyes. And tune into your body and notice as you're looking up. Now do it with your eyes closed. Continue to look up. Tuning into your body. What do you notice? We're going to meditate together in a few minutes, and I'm going to ask us to do this meditation. Typically, we do guided meditation, but today we're going to do a silent meditation using the third eye technique. And we're just going to look up. And when we look up, we won't strain our eyes. We'll, in fact, when you look up and look at the third eye, you might just imagine your eyes are comfortably kind of rolling back in your head. You don't have to point them. If there is a perfectionist among us, and I'm speaking to me as well, then you're going to think, am I doing it right? And you are. But mainly relax. Relax and just allow your eyes to comfortably roll back in your head toward the third eye. So we are going to now stop listening to me and just tune into wordless energies and coast. And whatever comes into your mind, allow it to drift past. Don't judge yourself. Just allow it to drift past. I lift mine eyes unto the hills from whence cometh my help. What help do you need? Place that request in your third eye without expectation. Just place it there. And rest. Eyes comfortably rolled back in your head, no eye strain, just gently looking up without purpose, even just relax. Relaxing the eyes up. I lift mine eyes into the hills from whence come. And as we learn to get help from this arena, from this plane, we learn to shift the consciousness of humanity with our own personal consciousness. When you're ready, open your eyes. And come back to I'm entering my tingshas. Who has not done the third eye meditation before? Anyone? It's everybody's has done this before, that's wonderful. Then you recognize that there is a different consciousness that comes into play as the longer we meditate in that way, right? So an important aspect of meditation is the realization, the making real to yourself, the notion, the knowledge really of your oneness with the cosmos. Right? As we acknowledge that reality, we take it deep into our psyches and know it with a capital K. Then we begin to shift the collective consciousness, because the power of our belief and our focus comes into play with how we contribute to the entirety, to the collective. So if our minds are going this way, this way, this way, this way, and let's say, for instance, that this is the right way. I don't like to use those words right and wrong, but let's say this is the intended way. If you're going back and forth and you just hit that every once in a while, it's one thing. But the power of focus is that when you are in the intended direction for a sustained period of time, the power of your own aura as you walk into a room is magnified. You can walk in, we talked, I think it was, well, it was in my class, not in Satsang, but in my class, we talked about gray magic and the ability to walk in the room and just change the vibration of what's going on there. And this is one way to do that. If you are in that place, the vibration that you carry with you, we are not separated from anyone. And even though physically it looks like we are, out from our physical body is our aura and the ethers and whatever, and those things are constantly exchanging information. They're constantly exchanging information. And if you are focused in what you're putting out, you're having more of an effect. So this is a wonderful technique. Even if it's just 3 minutes in the morning before you leave the house, to just do this meditation and have the intention of bringing what's in your heart into your energy field. That's what we're about to do right now. There's a change in consciousness that's happening that we can help with. It is, who has heard of Richard Tarnas? And particularly his book, Cosmos and Psyche. You may or may not be aware, there is a 10-part docu-series that's going to be released on February 22nd, 2022, all these twos. It's a limited release of a free showing of the 10 episodes, which will not be available without purchase after this initial release. I think there's 10 days, if I'm not mistaken, of the free viewing of it. And I got to tell you, I haven't been this excited in a long time about watching something like this. I've followed the work of Richard Tarnas, mainly just because I've heard of him. Other astrologers kind of constantly refer to him. And now that I know who he is, I am so deeply impressed. He's a Harvard educated cultural historian. He studied with Stanislav Grof. He teaches at the Esalen Institute in California. He wrote a book called The Passion of the Western Mind, which is widely used as a text in Western civilization classes in colleges across the country. He's well respected, and he has turned his eye toward astrology, and specifically toward the correlations of events in history with the positions of the planets. And what I love about him is he doesn't say that the planets cause these things. He's a scientist. And that's always been my hiccup with astrology. As much as I loved it and as much as I was drawn to it, I couldn't believe that the planets were actually directing our lives. What he says is the planets correlate with the rest of what's going on. And that's because the cosmos is conscious. The cosmos as a whole, and those of you who are studying with me in the, we're studying the Kabbalion, um, they call it the all in that study, but the cosmos, the everything, is conscious, has sentience, if you will. Maybe not the type we're equipped to understand, but everything, of course, is part of that consciousness, and your consciousness is part of that consciousness. And so it reflects the larger consciousness. As above, so below. What energies are trying to manifest and come into, come into being? Those energies are playing out through your body, they're playing out in the stars, and they are playing out in the universe. They are playing out in the plants and in the animals and in the stars and in the various universes. So those things are they're exciting. That's exciting to me. It's exciting to me because I, I've gone through a lot of changes with the idea of God. I was raised in a fundamental Christian home where, God was in my teaching back then. I learned to think of God as a scary guy who would punish you if you did anything wrong. Jesus was sweet, but God was kind of wrathful. And so, at one point I began to think, this doesn't make sense. I didn't even believe in God for a while. It's like, if that's God, I'm not interested. And then I began to have these experiences and I thought, maybe there's just, because I don't understand it doesn't mean it's not there. So then I thought, well, God's not personal. He's just this energy. And this is like almost coming full circle into the place where I can now see God as a conscious being. Not my kind of consciousness, but I am part of God's consciousness, if you want to use the word God or the all or the cosmos or whatever you want to use. I am part of that consciousness. And what is going on right now is a shifting of consciousness. And I watched the trailer to this docuseries, and Richard Tarnas was talking about the fact that Pluto, the planet Pluto, which was not even discovered until I think the 1800s, the planet Pluto, when it's aligned with the other slow moving planets, they only happen every once in a while when it's either conjunct or square or opposite these greater moving planets. You can tag it to cultural revolutions and the transformation of consciousness. He went all the way back and he did really a scholarly study all the way back to the French Revolution. And that was when, around the time, if I'm not mistaken, when Pluto was first discovered. And he traced this through the French Revolution, slavery, the 1960s, all these times when it was either conjunct, opposite, or square to Uranus, I believe it is, that he's looking at. And it's just absolutely fascinating. We are approaching that time again where there is a shifting of consciousness, and those things never happen without a backlash. And that backlash is happening right now. We see it all over the world with the rise of authoritarianism and white nationalism and all of that stuff. We see the backlash, but there is no going back. There's no going back. We have to move forward. We can go back for a second, but that back is overall up, right? It's overall up on the graph if I'm drawing it. So there are so many ways to participate in the shifting of consciousness right now. I feel like it's my particular mission to be involved in this. And there are so many ways. You can participate in group meditations. You can participate in my meditation that happens once a month on the first Wednesday of the month. There are Net of Light meditations where the grandmothers speak. It's a series of books that have been written, and all over the world people are doing these meditations. And if anybody's interested, let me know, because that is when that's where you can participate in meditation that people are doing all over the world. February 4th is World Sound Healing Day. I'm sorry, February 14th is World Sound Healing Day. If you're interested in that, look it up and you can participate. And in fact, Mirabai, one of the people in our lineage, she's hosting something in her space for the World Sound Healing. That's going on, the monthly meditations, and you probably know things to do. But also there's this just simple thing you can do before you leave the house every day. Do a third eye meditation and allow your energy to bleed into the energy of and raise the vibration of wherever you go, right? So those are the different ways we can participate. Now, I want to really spend a lot of time, the rest of our time here together. I would like to have you unmute yourselves and share, because it's been a long time since we've met as a group. We didn't meet in January because I was moving, and I believe Christmas, I can't remember if we met Christmas month either, because it's just so much transition. So I want to know what's going on with you. I will say this: I know astrologically there has been so much tumult in almost everybody's life that I have talked with, and it's a time of uncovering things that are need to be dealt with. I heard one astrologer refer to Pluto as the Roto-Rooter, and the archetype or the myth associated with Pluto is the Lord of Hades, and so everything that's under the surface is now wanting to come up, and it's not always comfortable. And so those of us who are conscious are trying to ride this wave and say, okay, whatever comes up, I'm going to ride it. But other people are really fighting against it. So tell me what's been going on with everybody. How are things in Europe? Ursula, I know you're, we know what's going on in the United States. How are things over there?
How are things in Europe? Well, I think it's quite similar, probably like in the USA, I believe, actually. From what you just shared, from all these, what you call backlashes, and also that people really, go through their stuff where they really face the things that just can't be being hidden anymore. They just need to be faced, come up. I think those things, that's yes. Probably very, very similar. And so other than that, the same goes for me. Also, I went through this period very strongly, and facing such things. And and I have really a feeling that it's really very probably to make the shift into healing. So this is really a time where, I mean, for all of us, or for everywhere, like that, now is really the time that it's really can, that really the profound transformation can happen into the next phase level, or in really depth of healings, I would say. So I think that's a time quality, like right now, that makes it possible for people for us to experience those deeper levels of healing. That's I have the feeling that is the time quality and the energies that are coming in, so to speak, our support that assists us in this personal journey, so to speak. And yeah.
Right. Yeah, I thank you for sharing that. I know that that's true for a lot of us. And speaking of astrology, again, I am not an astrologer. I probably never will be because I'm dyslexic when it comes to spatial relations. So, but I do have the ability to look at a snapshot of a chart. And right now, Pluto is conjunct with Mercury, which is how we communicate and how we travel and move through with our peer group and etc. So communication is like a throat thing, a fourth chakra. Wait a minute, fifth chakra thing, and I think right now is a good time. In fact, I'm looking for a therapist because I'm thinking this is a really good time to talk about what's coming up. So Pluto, the Rotor-Rooter, is bringing stuff up. It's time to talk about it. It's time to communicate it. And talking, especially for air signs such as myself, talking is a way to understand what's inside. Even sometimes, I don't know if you've had this experience, when you say something you thought, oh, that is right, and I didn't even know I thought it till I said it. But it resonates and you know it's true. So I think it's a great time for therapy, and I'm looking for one for myself because, I feel like I've come a long ways, but I'm certainly not there. And I want to move into a new octave, if you will, of appreciation for all the energies that come into my field and being able to deal with them without reacting. And for me, being an empath, there is a line between taking it on and then, but not putting a shield around myself so that I can't feel it, because that's more comfortable. So it's, learning to navigate that part of it for me is, I think it's important right now. So what else has been going on with the rest of you? Faji, it's so good to see your face. I've missed you.
I just said thank you.
Oh.
I want to wait to hear from some of the others before I share.
Okay. Ishwari, you're on mute, but would you like to speak?
Yes, it's just great to connect with everybody today and see faces that I haven't seen in ages, and remember that we're all family evolving together. And it really gives me a lot of reassurance to connect with everybody. And I've been really making efforts to raise my vibration, to not let all the news and all the sad stories lower my vibration into a depression. And sometimes it's a struggle. But I've been praying for world peace and just trying to remember moment to moment to take a look at what I am thinking, and if it's something sad or negative, just to switch it to something that is positive and peaceful and joyful, because I know that, I know I'm not helping the world by adding depression to the world, so I'm just wanting to feel more vim and vigor and happiness in my moment-to-moment life.
You know, one of the first things our teacher, Ishwari's and my teacher, taught me was to watch my thoughts. So what you're doing is really important. And I don't think depression is necessarily a bad thing. We feel it and then we release it, right? And so all of these energies have a need to be expressed. And yeah, thank you for sharing that, because I think all of us, a lot of us are going through, I won't call it depression, but a lot of us are going through challenging psychological states that we are, something is coming up that needs to be expressed and needs to be dealt with without harming our environment or the people around us. So that's very important, what you're, but if it's there to, if it's inside you to come up to be expressed, it's beautiful. Yeah, even depression. What I love is that you're watching your thoughts and you're becoming more, and that's when we're at the beginning of the of Satsang, I talked about making real our knowledge of our oneness, and that watching your thoughts is part of that. You are part of the collective, and making those thoughts real by transmuting them when they need to be transmuted is a service to the world, because you're not just doing it for yourself. Yay. I'm so glad my friend Mary has joined us. Mary she came and helped me unpack, and then she came again last week and put in closets for me, and is responsible for a lot of the stuff being off my floor now into cabinets. She even put cabinets in my garage, or shelves in my garage. I mean, this girl is amazing. This girl is amazing, and I'm so glad to see your smiling face there, Mare. She's one of my dearest friends.
You're a sweetheart.
What's been going on with you?
I'm really getting mindful of how important my well-being is. And I'm just going to pick up the computer so I can sit back. Nothing else matters, does it? I mean, it doesn't matter how much money I make. It doesn't matter. Like, if I'm on this planet, I got a body. I got a body that needs attention. I need sleep. I need strength. I need all the things. I need water. I need good air. I need movement. I need flexibility. All of these things feed the system and make all other things more possible, in a kind of flow, and a kind of ease, with a kind of graciousness, with a kind of generosity. All that stuff feeds all the things that I want to give back to the world. And so I'm working on recommitting to acknowledging that comes first. Wow. And in line with what Ishwari was saying, I woke up this morning and I did not sleep well again. And I'm like tossing and turning. I'm like, this is so miserable. This is so miserable. That's so miserable. This has to change. no, 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 no. I am going to sleep really well. I am going to get this new bed system, whatever, and it's going to be great. And I'm going to sleep well. I can focus on what I'm for and not what I'm against, because that just like makes that more of a wall around me. So those are kind of the two things that I'm working on right now, that I'm embracing. I'm embracing well-being as my well-being as the core to everything else in the world that radiates from me and around me and through me. And the invitation of all that's possible rather than the limitation that wakes me up to what's possible.
Oh, well said. Well said. Yeah, we all studied, well, most of us studied Maslow's hierarchy of needs. And when the higher echelons of consciousness sort of depend on taking care of the lower, and when I say lower, I don't mean less than, but the more third dimensional needs of our body, doesn't it? If you're hungry, it's hard to be spiritual. And if you're in pain, it's hard to not that it can't be done, but it's the physical body is what we have to deal with, and it's so important because it's our vehicle for learning in this dimension, which is where we are, where our consciousness has landed. So it's not only kind of important, it's essential. I think what you're saying makes so much sense.
Mm.
Yeah, it makes so much sense.
Yep. And for me, it's a lot about sleep. And sleep is more important to the human body than food. So it's really waking up to acknowledging that that is critical.
Right.
That is absolutely critical.
Yeah, believe me, I know. There were many years when I never slept more than 15 minutes at a time. Not many years, but a few years, I should say, probably 3 or 4 or 5 years that I just never slept. And boy, that makes a difference. Gosh, it makes a difference. I felt like a crazy person during that time. During the day, I was fine and nobody noticed, but at night, I felt like a crazy person. Yeah. I get it. I do. It's part of the journey, and I'm glad you're paying attention to what you need.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
Oh, I wanted to mention that I posted the link on the chat to the Richard Tarnas
Oh, good. Thank you.
Changing of the God series. So if anybody.
Thank you. I meant to do that, and I appreciate it because I'm not good at multitasking. So thank you, thank you, thank you.
Okay.
Yeah, you can sign up at that link, and it's really a very high quality thing. It's like a first rate movie. I mean, just all the graphics and the intelligent discourse. It's just, I've seen, like I said, I've seen the trailer, and I was so impressed. So yeah, you can sign up there, and you can, I guess if you ask them to click on a link or click a box, they will literally send you texts every time every episode drops. So it's very cool. Thank you so much for doing that. And there's also, I wanted to give you a link for the grandmothers, and I wonder if I have that or if I need to look that up. But I don't know if anybody is interested in that, but I know, for instance, I join in a meditation that happens all over the phone every Wednesday at 12:15 Eastern time. And that's New York time, Ursula. But so if anybody's interested in that, put that in the chat, and I will make sure that I send that to you. Let me open the chat. Thank you. Oh, is my computer, is my voice wavering still, Baji? I'm just now listening
No,
to the chat. No.
it was earlier. Now it's very clear.
Okay, very good, 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 good. So the grandmothers are, there are books by Sharon McAlane is her name. Okay, that's her name. And the books are the grandmothers books, and it's a channeling from Native American ancestors, the grandmothers who speak about the return of the feminine, that the masculine has been out of balance for a while and has become more aggressive. And the balancing has to happen. It's not that the masculine is wrong at all. And again, it has nothing to do with male and female. It's talking about energies that are coming back into play. And so, oh, here's my baby girl. But anyway, yeah, so if you're interested in that, look that up. And it's called the Net of Light Meditations. And they are, if anybody wants to have that phone number, contact me and I will give it to you, and join us for the meditations on Wednesday. And like I said, there's World Healing Day. And Mirabai, who I really expected to see today, Mirabai is also participating. That she has something in Rochester, New York. She calls it the Bhakti Barn. She lives in the country, in the woods, and she has a big old barn. She's converted to what she calls the Bhakti Barn, and she has things there. Okay, I will let you know. I see your message, Ishwari, and I will let you know about that number. I don't have it right on me, but anyway, she's doing an event for World Sound Healing Day, and you can join it by Zoom if you're interested. So if anybody's interested in that, let me know, because I will be joining that. It's on Valentine's Day, February 14th. So there's a lot going on that you can get with your peeps and feel the energy of everybody having the same intention. It's wonderful. It's wonderful. Who else wants to share what's going on with you or what you are thinking right now?
I can share.
Yes.
When you were, I'm glad to be here and to see everybody also. When you were talking about the third eye, I just always remember when I was having a bad moment or I had a bad grade, or my mother used to always tell me to keep your chin up. And that makes you raise your eyes, either not too high, but at least straight.
Yes.
That will make you have a different perspective of what's going on. Wow. And I just remember all the time when she used to tell me that, just keep your chin up, just keep your chin up. And wow. Probably she did not know, but now I can see what she meaning about, or maybe unconsciously she knew. And when Mary said that about taking care of herself, I feel so identified, because I didn't think that we deserve that. And we deserve that. We deserve that tranquility. And because this morning, I woke up with a very bad feeling. I said, I cannot do that. I don't have to do that. I'm in a better place right now. And I'm kind of enjoying knowing myself. It's a way of knowing myself, and it makes me feel content. I'm not sleeping very well, but I'm communicating what I really want to do. I'm not going by what the people around me want to do. I'm doing what I want to do. It's my time to take care of myself. So I appreciate that, Mary.
Oh. And when your Kundalini energy is rising, you don't sleep very well. That's what was happening with me. When your Kundalini energy is moving up your spine toward realization, you often don't sleep very well. I don't know why that is, but that is the truth. Yeah.
But the 2 or 3 hours that I sleep well. But then I wake up again and try to sleep. But I'm I'm in a better place because
Wow.
I know what I want and I know what I don't want. So
That is good. That is good. How have you experienced that, being away from Atlanta for long periods of time and away from your family gives you a different perspective from, you know, she's
in a
a
way,
nurse
yes.
and been working all over the country. Yeah.
In a way, yes, because it helped me to see other people and see a different environment and see, oh, there's more than what I'm used to.
Yeah.
I'm always loved my family, yes, but it's just what being away makes me feel. It's like, yes, I can do this. I'm not afraid. I don't feel like people is coming against me. I just feel comfortable. It's okay to experience something new.
Right.
Yeah,
Oh, that's wonderful.
yeah,
And when you wake up some days and we have a really bad feeling, sometimes you can look and say, is the Roto-Rooter trying to bring something up that I need to express? Or am I picking up something from some other area, some other people? Ask, maybe go in to visit the third eye and ask, is this mine? Is this mine to deal with? Or do
yeah.
I just need to learn how to be in the world in a different way?
Well, that's a good.
Because it may not be yours.
Yeah, yeah. Thank you. I will do that.
Yeah,
Mm.
may not be yours.
And I did register for the changes of God. So I'm very looking forward to watch it.
Oh, good.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, it's almost time to wrap it up. Who else would like to share before we wrap it up?
Dear, I put a note in the chat box that I would prefer just to have everyone read and draw it into your spirit, and just have the awareness
Okay.
of that.
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. I apologize. Like I
I
said.
just put it in.
Oh, okay. Okay. Good. All right. Well, that's.
I read what Baji had put in, and I'll be sending you energy as much as I can anyway, because I too realize that that's a significant problem. I can't experience it like you do, but I know that as Indira talked about, the backlash that's going on, there are too many people in this world that don't want the change to happen, and so they're fighting it tooth and nail in so many ways. And there's some ways for us to battle that. And I know for a long time in Atlanta, I was trying to help in that battle, and it absolutely wore me out. And I've taken some time the last couple of months to, as Mary talked about, to spend some time on me. And I'm in a better place than I have been in many, many, many years. And one of the things that I found as an example, anyway, of a better place, with the meditation that we did with lifting our eyes, I immediately, when I did that, I felt like I was flying above. I felt total freedom, and a vision came to me like it has a number of times in the distant past, and also fairly frequently. I felt like a bird. It was just not flying, just gliding you know, without any effort at all, gliding over the earth and looking down on the beauty of the earth. I think I know if I can concentrate on looking at the positive side of things, that I am putting that message out to the universe. And if all of us, if enough of us do that, putting that positive energy out, maybe that's the best way to fight the anger and oppression and the backlash that you were talking about. Because, you know, if you try to fight a negative with a negative, you know, that doesn't work. You know, it actually produces more negativity. And so if we try to not fight, but push against a negative with a positive, you know, we have a much better chance of success, I think, anyway. And I think that, you know, the law of physics shows that. So that's what I want to concentrate on. Working on me, continuing to work on me and make me feel better myself. And if I think if I do that, then that's going to transmit to the universe in some way. And so that's what I'm going to concentrate on for the rest of my life anyway. Thank you.
Thank you.
You know, we never stop growing, do we? Baji, I didn't get your message. I don't know whether it went to everyone but I did not get your message. So I didn't even,
Haven't either.
you didn't get it either. I wonder if it just went to Jen for some reason. But anyway, let's touch bases afterwards.
It did go as a direct message to me.
Oh, I see. Okay. You can copy and paste that to me. That would be good. But I wonder if we can touch bases after this and maybe talk for a minute because I want to support you. Yes.
I just
Oh, gosh.
sent it to everyone. Okay.
I got it now. Thank you. I can just only imagine. Baji, and I want to support you in any way I can. And support the movement, the transformation of consciousness that is necessary for all of us to be able to live in the harmony that is intended as being because we are one. We fight against each other, and that's how we hurt each other. That's how we hurt ourselves, is fighting against each other and understanding, thinking that we have to fight against an other is a sickness. It's a sickness against ourselves. So I want to respect everybody's time. We're about 5 minutes getting off of this, or 5 minutes late getting off of this. So I'm gonna end the recording, and I want to say that I am so glad to have you guys here with me today. I love you so very much, and this is a privilege to be in community with all of you. Satguru Maharaj Ki Jai.
Thank you.
Thank you so much, Indira. Thank you so much, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. It's good to see everybody.
Yes, it is.
See everyone.